Getting $40 million a year, I believe $123 million guaranteed, the highest paid non-quarterback in the history of the National Football League. Well, anything Myles Garrett can do contractually, Micah Parsons wants to do better.
See what he said?
He said, yo,
Please.
WTF.
Please.
Y'all can look up
Chase,
what that
mean,
means.
Chase?
What the freak?
Okay.
Shady, does Myles Garrett signing put pressure on the Cowboys, Micah Parsons?
Yeah. You see a great pass rusher get paid? You got a younger great pass rusher. It's time for him to get paid.
No question.
It should be no question that Michael Parsons should be the highest paid defensive player of all time today.
No question.
Not tomorrow, today. He's that good, and he's still young. And another thing about Michael Parsons, I got to say this honestly, and it's not because I'm being biased, he's from Harrisburg. I think we haven't even seen his ceiling yet.
Yeah, that's
We know Myles Garrett's ceiling.
point.
He's a great player. Deepest player of the year, we know that. I think the ceiling for Michael Parsons, I don't even know what that is.
I agree.
Because you can put him anywhere. He's the only defensive player in the league that you put him anywhere. Myles Garrett, you know where he's going. TJ Watt, you know where you putting his hand at. Micah in the dirt, in the A-gap, linebacker, outside, anywhere.
Reach.
So when you got a guy like that, you pay him. Imagine a world where they said, Lawrence Taylor, are we going to pay him all this money? Aaron Donald, are we going to? Hello? Michael Parsons is in that same category.
Yep.
Cowboys, I didn't watch y'all mess around and pay Dak when you should never pay him. I watch y'all play around with CeeDee Lamb when you should have paid him and you wait a little longer. Don't mess this up. Yeah. Pay that Harrisburg kid that paper. Because one thing I learned about this, when you pay them kids from Harrisburg, they be the best player on your team.
Yeah.
With it, I like it.
It absolutely puts pressure on the Cowboys. I talked to Micah's agent this morning, obviously a close friend of mine in Mulugeta. I said, hey, bro, Myles Garrett got paid. You know, Micah, y'all finna jump him? Very simple. And Mulugeta always speaks in like stuff like this.
I love him, though.
He said two things gonna happen in the world I can guarantee you. Sun gonna rise, and Micah Parsons gonna get paid. That's two things.
Hey, he be balling too, though, dog.
But we know that.
Gotta be, yo, I don't lie.
So he gonna get probably, like you said, 40, 41, 42. I just know this. He will jump Myles Garrett. Now, for those that suggest Micah Parsons isn't Myles Garrett, that's fair. But through the first 4 years in the NFL, Myles Garrett wasn't Micah Parsons. Only Micah Parsons and Reggie White started their career 4 consecutive seasons, 12 or more sacks. Reggie White, I said, people, finished his career, I believe, with 198 sacks. So Micah Parsons will get his money. Like Shady said, and I don't disagree with Shady much, and I won't disagree here, Micah Parsons is more versatile than Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is better at what he does, which is rush the passer, than Micah Parsons. But Micah, you can put him in an off-ball backer and blitz him more fluidly than you can Myles. You don't have to with Myles, though, because he can do whatever he does, and he does it at a high level. So it does put pressure on the Cowboys. Chase, I'll let you take the baton as it pertains to why Jerry waits so long, because that's my next take, but I won't step on your toes.
Well, and that's what, it absolutely puts the pressure on the Cowboys. But I don't think it's necessarily just a sign. It's going to put the pressure on a decision. Do we need to trade him or do we need to sign him? And before Myles Garrett jumped more than $5 million a year, the DN market, I'm like, sign him. Jerry, what are you waiting for? Jerry, when are you going to learn that you need to stop negotiating against yourself? Because you could have got this deal done at the start of the offseason for $36 million. Now, over the course of his contract, you're going to pay him, if you sign him, $30 million over the course of a contract. Do you as a franchise, do you as an organization want to pay Micah Parsons 4 year, $170 million? 4 year, $175 million. I don't know what it is because I agree with Shady. We haven't seen a ceiling. So he is going to get more. That's just, Jerry's always playing catch up. He's always playing, he did it with CD. You could have got it done early. You're doing it with Micah. Now you might lose him. Now it's got to be a reasonable talk in the facility. Do we truly believe Micah Parsons is worth $175 million, or are we going to use that and disperse it elsewhere throughout our roster to try and make us a better team? Because in the history of the game, there's never been a team with 3 $30+ million a year guys. And the Dallas Cowboys, if they sign Micah, will be that case. I think that's the frustrating part for the Dallas Cowboys. They could have had Micah for $36, $37 million a year. Now the price just went up, and the longer you wait, it just went further up. Because Micah's seeing that, the WTF, he's laughing man, I'm going straight to the bank with this. You know what I mean? And so it's for him, it's like, Jerry, what are we doing? Get your stuff done right away.
Yeah, I heard the conversation, too. Mulugeta was on speaker, and he said he was looking at houses. Because, Micah didn't get paid, he buying him a new house. You talked about it, and I just want to show the world the graphic of what Micah Parsons is his first 4 years compared to Myles Garrett. Just look at it. Sacks. Look at the tackles, the All-Pros, the Pro Bowls. He is on a different planet. And you know what? If they try to do what Chase is doing, something stupid, and trade Micah, now you got to go into the draft and you got to go into free agency and you got to say, hey, man, we're looking for a guy that can pass rush, that can play linebacker, that's fast, that got speed, that can make all these plays, be a 3-time pro. You're looking for that. You know where that guy's at? Nowhere.
Nowhere.
He ain't in the draft. He ain't in free agency. He ain't nowhere. You know where he at? He in Dallas. And he on your team. You know, so the only thing that's frustrating about this whole situation is you waited too long, Dallas, and now the price has went way up. When are y'all going to learn to pay these players so y'all can get them at a good price and keep them in the building? Now Micah's going to sit there and say, if you ain't starting with Fody, why am I coming in the office?
Look at the team look at the team in your division, Shady. The Philadelphia Eagles. What does Howie Roseman do? He pays players early. He sets the market so he doesn't have to chase the market. And when the market comes back around, they're under contract for a very similar number. That's okay.
It's only one Howie.
But I'm saying, learn from your division.
I know. Before you leave, to say this, though. This is not all about Jerry. It's not all his fault. I watch him give them guys 9 All-Pros, and your quarterback choked out like every other year. So when you want to talk about the team, just remember that. I know that. All right. I got you, Jerry. I got you, dog.
Dallas, the Cowboys making a lot of nothingness. Because while teams are making moves, Cowboys aren't even making noise. Davante Adams, he's going to the Rams. Deebo Samuel, he's going to the Commanders. But for Dak Prescott, they've done nothing of substance, I would suggest, this offseason, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Chase, as a quarterback, when you're watching all of the moves happen around you.
Y'all always got something to say, Chase.
It's a lot.
But none of the moves are happening inside the building. Should Dak be upset with the Cowboys' lack of moves this offseason?
Upset's a really strong word. I think frustrated at point maybe is a better than upset. I can't be upset when I'm making $60 million a year. You know what I'm saying, Shady?
Fair.
Superstar perspective. So one thing that I would be cautious if I'm Dak is you got to surround this guy with a better supporting cast. You go out there, you get CeeDee Lamb, right? I love it. I think he's a top 3 or 4 receiver in the NFL. However, you're losing Brandon Cooks. You got Ferguson at tight end. Your offensive line is okay, right? And this is sort of who the Dallas Cowboys are. They don't really build through free agency. Now, they have the 11th most cap money to spend in free agency. But when you take a spin around the free agent market, okay, and we haven't even started free agency.
Correct.
Most of the top players are already signed.
Yep.
And they've already stayed with their teams because they realize that's probably their best bet. So this is actually one of the worst years to have all this cap space. So if I'm Dak, I'm looking at, the Rams. You can get a guy in Davante Adams for $22 million a year. And you see the surrounding weapons that Matthew Stafford has around him. You look at Debo, and you look at what Jaden Daniels as a rookie. Now, I get he's on a rookie contract, but you go out there and you surround him. You re-sign Zach Ertz. You re-sign Bates. You get Deebo Samuel. You have Scary Terry, which you're about to extend. So for me, it's like I can only do so much as a quarterback in Dak, and I should be expected to go out there and to help my program and team rise to the top. It's hard to do that without really good players.
Exactly right. If you're Dak, you have to be livid because the Cowboys are only giving LaShawn McCoy more ammunition. The Cowboys are only giving Dak Prescott antagonists more ammunition. The teams that the Cowboys are going to have to go through, the Los Angeles Rams. The Los Angeles Rams have a better skill unit than the Dallas Cowboys, running back included. The Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia have a clearly better skill unit than the Dallas Cowboys, obviously running back included. The Washington Commanders. The Washington Commanders now have a better skill unit than the Dallas Cowboys. So all of the teams, San Francisco 49ers, have a better skill unit than the Dallas Cowboys. So while Dak Prescott is getting paid a lot and should have done more, especially historically with what he has been given, at this point in time, you were sending Dak Prescott out onto the football field against teams that have not just more help than him, significantly more help than him. The Rams, they were in the playoffs last year in the divisional round. They got Davante Adams. The Commanders, they were in the playoffs last year, the NFC Championship game, and they're in your division. They got Deebo Samuel. Dak Prescott, he surely could have used the number 2 playmaker. So the Cowboys are only giving Shady McCoy, only giving Dak Prescott antagonists, only giving Dak Prescott doubters, of which at times I definitely am one, are only giving